I'm going to try to keep this pretty short and kind of to the point. But got some different things here. All leather. Get that to focus. And it's just a $40, $30 Carhartt wallet. I've had this thing for years. I mean, it's a wallet. It's not supposed to be super thick and rigid, but I mean, I don't have a lot of stuff in here. But, I mean, even right here at the fold, that's empty, and that is very rigid. This is the sheath for my SE3, and this video is actually focused on knife sheaths. This is the Carl Thomas that I even wet formed. I mean, you can hear that. Where did do one-handed? Okay. Come on. There we go. I mean, you can hear that on this little indention here. You can kind of hear it and feel it. Boom. Snaps in. You can see the snaps. Pretty good quality. This is wet formed. I mean, that is rigid. And of course, oh God, I mean, that smells like good leather. It smells, I didn't want to bring them up here, but even my tool bags, which is not this brand. I use Occidental Leathers. But I mean, even these guys, you know, your kind of budget tool bag companies, they use a quality leather. This one I oiled a while ago, but I mean, you can see and feel that is rigid. The main part I want you to kind of focus on all this leather, even though it's a little dirty. Those are all natural kind of cracks and creases, whatnot. Same with the Carl Thomas, and this is very new. It's like that's very natural looking. Same with the old wallet. You know, nothing looks like it doesn't have like that carpet lion look effect like a lot of fake leather has. You know, even this Columbia River. This guy's really new. I just got this the other day. I've already wet formed it. I mean, those are pretty rigid. That is, I mean, that is very rigid. And it's not even that thick of leather. And it's very rigid, and you know, I mean, that is real leather. There's no doubt in my mind. Again, look at the come on, focus your fuck. Maybe up here. Yeah, you can see all the wrinkles and just the natural lines in the leather. Natural being keyword. And of course, just like everything else, I mean, all four of these are all different manufacturers. They all smell like leather. Now, here's the main meat and potatoes of this conversation. The Ottoza, I think this is the number 37. It's for 4 to 6 inch blades. Aesthetically looking at it, I like it. But, I mean, just, if I did the old Helen Keller, Ray Charles thing, just feeling this compared to this, compared to this, compared to the wallet, compared to that, this just doesn't feel like high, you know, top choice quality, top grain leather. It's a very smooth feeling. I mean, that kind of looks like leather. It just doesn't feel like it. I mean, I had to soak this, saturate this for, I mean, I think over 24 hours in water before I attempted to wet form this blade. And as you can tell, it doesn't like snap in. It just kind of mushes. And there is still, I mean, if I take the belt loop part off, I mean, there's no hard lines really to see where it wet formed, and it's still a little squishy. Let's take this out. Now the little pouch, it's just very, very flimsy leather. And again, I soaked this in water to wet form it, properly dried it out, re-oiled it lightly, and it feels like this has just been saturated in oil its entire life. Kind of a weird discoloration on the leather too. If you look at this, the back side of this, I can get this strap here to kind of get into frame. So you can see the back, the rough side of the leather. It all kind of looks the same until you look at this one. It looks very fuzzy, but it's discolored, like, and this is very new. I bought these within a week, or not that, the hatchet sheath and this within 4 days of each other. And none of these have been used in the outdoors except for this guy. This has been used a lot, and it's still pretty new. And you can see with the wet form, it's, I mean, that is solid sounding, and it does it. The knife, everything indexes in and kind of, holds its retention. This is just kind of a lot softer, really squishy. It kind of held the wet form here, but in order for me to retain that, I had to put some old holster retention screws in with the rubber gasket behind. I had to do that there, and I had to do another one right there on the back just to help with the retention, because wet forming didn't do anything. So the only reason that this is staying is because of these are kind of holding the shape. Now this bungee is something I do on all my blades. It just helps get this out of the way. But I mean, that is so stiff. This thing is, it just doesn't feel like leather. It smells, it almost smells like cardboard. But here's the thing with the smooth side of everything. Let's get this back over kind of in a good frame here. The wallet. Oh, we can do that. Look at the surface of all the leather. This thing's old. The wallet and this are old. This has been used good, but it's still new. See the natural cracks, maybe. Let me get the flatter side. See all those natural lines. And then you come here. Do you see all these lines running this direction? And they're all evenly spaced. Here's a line. Here's a line. Here's a line. Try to get into a better light. Line, 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 line. They all run down the entire length of all the leather as if it's made on a machine. I mean, right here you can clearly see these lines, almost like carpet. Something that has been manufactured by a machine. Not so much on this little pouch, but even on the straps. I can get the light to hit it. You can faintly see them from this being bent over. Not so much on the tip here, but I mean, and this has never been worn on my body. This has never had any hard contact against anything to make it look imprinted like this, but There's just a lot of red flags here. The lines, the way the leather just feels in comparison to everything else that I own that is leather. Even my saddles downstairs. You know, nothing I have that is leather feels like this, smells like this. It just, even wet forming it. This is very flimsy. Like, I can barely do that with this one. Like, that's legit tough. Even pulling that back, I mean, leather holds memory too. It's skin. This just doesn't hold its memory except for this little wrinkle in the top of this little pouch. And that's because of the way it came shipped. And that has nothing to do with this little piece of fat wood or any of my kindling in there. It's been that way. Other issue. This is, I don't know, this is almost like pleather. This stuff is so thin. Again, I have not used this at all. It's pretty much just sat in my knife drawer. It already ripped off of that. And it had nothing to do with me attaching these little bungees, because when I used my leather punch tool, I was nowhere near that. So having that one break off, so there was actually, it matched the belt retention straps. So stitching looks good. Even the retention for the ferro rod, granted I have duct tape around the first part of it, but I mean, it's good. Looking at it, this is beautiful. You know, they did a fantastic job making it. It's just the leather quality is something, I don't think it's real leather. I'm not an expert, but like I said, compared to literally every other thing that I own that is leather or has leather on it, all of it seems like it's 100 times better quality than this. So I don't know, maybe I just got a bad batch, but it's like, man, those lines, it's just, that's a red flag. I wish I could kind of peel that thing apart a little bit more to get a better look on the inside, but you know, if this was real leather, my only gripe about it would be that this is not stitched right here like it is on this side. There's no reason that should flop around that much. But I mean, even with the blade in, don't cut yours. Make sure we're seated all the way. And this is still just, it's 2 fingers, just super flimsy. I'm worried that that's going to poke through. This, let me take this out. So, and that retention screw is only just because it's a belt loop. This wasn't supposed to work, and it still worked. But again, 2 fingers. That doesn't move. And they are damn near. They're the exact same thicknesses on the end. But this just has a lot of give. And this guy is rigid. Same with this. You know, even this very worn out tool pouch, or hammer holder, leather strap for holding a hammer. Wow. Anyways, like it's rigid. I mean, but it's old. It's got some flex, but this is substantially thicker material, and it's got just as much flex, almost as much flex as this. So I don't know, if you're not super picky with your leather quality, then yeah, I get this. It's super cool looking. Would I trust this out in the woods? Probably not, no. And that's a bummer, because when I bought this knife, it didn't come with a sheath. And yeah. So back to just rocking the 4, I guess, for all my wilderness and bushcrafty, survival-y activities. So, but, I mean, yeah, that's, nothing's in there. Look how rigid this is. you know, this thing has stuff in it, and look how fucking flimsy that is. And that, I mean, that is packed tight with stuff. And it's still, I mean, even right there at the lip, just one finger. Like it's nothing. So, now you know.